MIT study reports 95% of AI pilots are failing. Companies have spent $30 to $40 billion in generative AI, yet 95% see no financial return. The adoption rate is high, 80% are testing, and 40% deploy, but the impact has been low. Big firms are running pilots, but struggle to scale.
Every revolution has its skeptics, and the AI revolution is no different. The question everyone is whispering is this just another bubble? I'm here to analyze a recent conversation with some of the sharpest minds in tech that argues it's not a bubble. It's the single biggest economic and cultural shift in human history. Let's start with their direct response to the bubble question, which came up after a discussion about a supposed $500 billion valuation for OpenAI.
So tell me about this. Sam has a dinner, I believe out in San Francisco.
He does.
And he says at the dinner, though, this is the famous dinner in the last week, where he says that there could be an AI bubble that's taking place. Do you believe there's an AI bubble? And I say that in the context that there's apparently a secondary sale of some of your private stock that some of your employees may be trying to sell at a $500 billion valuation.
Amazing. So, Dave, is there an AI bubble?
There's definitely not a bubble. And two things. Sam, first of all, is now in full board downplay mode because he doesn't need to hype it anymore. He's exactly where he needs to be. So he's in full board downplay mode. We've seen that before. And then there are plenty of bad investments out there, all kinds of charlatans running around raising capital, and those companies will fail. And then people will say, see, I told you it was a bubble. But that's not true. It's the tailwind is like nothing we've ever seen. And everybody is now, whether they know what they're doing or not, they're all kind of jumping on the ship. All the business school people are coming out of the woodwork, getting involved. And so, yeah, there's going to be some bad investments. And then people will say, see, I was right. It was a bubble. Absolutely not a bubble. It's the biggest shift in human history.
That final line is the thesis for everything that follows. When he says it's not a bubble, he is not just being optimistic. He is looking at the fundamental rewiring of the economy. The key insight here is separating bad investments from the underlying technological tsunami. Of course, bad companies will fail. That happens in every gold rush. But that doesn't mean the gold isn't real. The argument is that this isn't about hype. It's about a tailwind so powerful that it's redefining what's possible. And the worst possible move is to stand on the sidelines assuming it's all going to collapse. And this isn't some abstract cloud-based phenomenon. The discussion immediately pivots to how this intelligence is about to break out of the data center and into our physical reality.
AI models hit consumer hardware in 12 months. So using a single top-of-the-line gaming GPU like NVIDIA's RTX 5090, which is about $2,500, anyone can locally run models matching the absolute frontier LLM performance somewhere in the next 6 to 12 months. Alex, thoughts here?
I think there are two stories here. The superficial sort of cliched story is that this is about consumer privacy and empowering individuals with personal superintelligence, enabling individuals to have conversations with chatbots without needing to reach out to a server. I think that sort of superficial story completely ignores the actual story here, which is these frontier models are starting to incorporate new modalities, actions in physical world, video modalities, and then the net upshot of all of this is we're about to get general purpose robots, humanoid robots that are running foundation models like ChatGPT or its now numerous frontier competitors, but they're going to be running locally at ultra low latency. So when these curves cross, if they cross, and even if they don't cross, if they come close enough together, this is going to give us GPUs embedded in general purpose robots, ultra low latency that are performing general world, human complete, AI complete tasks.
This is a critical point that most people miss. We hear about AI on your phone and think privacy or convenience. That's the surface level. The real game changer, as Alex Wisner-Gross points out, is latency. When you don't have to send a signal to a data center and wait for a response, you can have a robot that reacts instantly, that navigates the world with the same fluid intelligence as a biological creature. This is the moment AI gets a body. It's the catalyst for the humanoid robot revolution, not in 10 years, but potentially starting in the next 12 to 24 months. We are talking about the intelligence of GPT-5 in a physical form, in your home, operating in real time. This is where the digital revolution becomes a physical one. But if AI can master the physical world, what about mastering time itself? The conversation took a turn that sounds like pure science fiction, but they argue it's becoming reality.
Well, what's wonderful about predicting financial indices like S&P is they immediately get priced into the market. The moment that there's an amazing crystal ball for predicting market performance, every financial institution, every quant fund will race, to the extent they haven't already, probably have already, incorporate these LLMs and foundation models to trade better. So in some sense, I think one can separate predicting financial markets, where, as the meme goes, don't worry, it's already priced in, versus the rest of the universe, where I think, quite frankly, I think this starts to look like Isaac Asimov's psychohistory for forward prediction. And then something I hear almost no one else talking about: what about retro prediction? Can we predict the past or retrodict the past? So much of our past is a black box to us. If we can predict the future, can we do a really amazing job of retrodicting what came before us to very high resolution? And I think
I love that. So you mean
Yeah.
like we have data points of ancient Greece and ancient Rome. Can we fill things in? Is that what you're speaking about?
Exactly, to ultra high fidelity. Some have called this aspirationally quantum archaeology. Could we retrodict the past light cone to quantum level fidelity? And I think, ironically, predicting the past, retrodicting the past, might be even more exciting than predicting the future.
This is where my mind just expands. We always think about AI predicting the future, but the concept of retrodiction, of using AI to reconstruct the past with quantum-level fidelity, is a paradigm shift. Think about it. History is a set of incomplete data points, written by the victors. What if we could fill in the gaps? What if we could simulate ancient Rome, not as we imagine it, but as it actually was, down to the conversations on the street? This isn't just about solving historical mysteries. It's about fundamentally changing our relationship with our own past. It's an idea so profound, it redefines what it means to understand where we came from. It's the ultimate application of intelligence, understanding not just what will be, but everything that was. And to do that, you need an intelligence that can go beyond just analyzing data. You need one that can create entirely new frameworks for understanding the universe.
Yeah, and I want to flash the meme. It's here, it's happening. I think we're just at the very leading edge now of AI starting to bulk solve math, science, and engineering. Right now, it's a trickle. It's sort of an interesting, newsworthy moment when a weak improvement, arguably, over an existing optimization theorem was proven independently by GPT-5 Pro. It's remarkable, just this one little proof. But the trickle, I think, is going to turn into a tidal wave over the next year or so, possibly by the end of this year. So I think what this is going to turn into is basically bulk proofs of math, bulk discoveries in science, and bulk inventions in engineering, all happening at once, which right now, culturally, we have no precedent for.
And
The phrase to focus on is no precedent. We are culturally and intellectually unprepared for what's coming. For all of human history, scientific discovery has been a slow, painstaking process. A single great mind might produce a handful of breakthroughs in a lifetime. What they're describing here is the industrialization of discovery. It's not one new math proof. It's a tidal wave of them. It's bulk-solving science. This is the moment AI stops being a tool that helps humans and becomes the primary engine of scientific progress itself. This is the feedback loop that accelerates everything. Better science leads to better AI, which leads to even better science. This is the mechanism of the singularity in action, and it's not a distant theory anymore. It's happening now. But with this incredible potential, there's a paradox. If this technology is so powerful, why are so many established companies failing to get any value from it?
All right, so Dave, to you here, MIT study reports 95% of AI pilots are failing. Companies have spent $30 to $40 billion in generative AI, yet 95% see no financial return. The adoption rate is high, 80% are testing, and 40% deploy, but the impact has been low. Big firms are running pilots, but struggle to scale. So I'm going to hit the next slide as well for a little more data, and then let's talk about it. So in this study, 95% of the failure is a failure to deliver financial benefit. And the study goes on to say that it's principally because the companies don't understand how to use the AI tools properly. There's a learning gap. And companies that buy existing AI solutions succeed 2/3 of the time, and those that try and build it internally do not succeed. Only 1/3 of them do. We saw a huge stock market dive as investor fears sort of hit on this. Oh my God, is the AI bubble real? And then, interestingly enough, and I think this is one of the most important things, Salim, you and I talk about in the EXO world, is that startups achieve a much better return on investment regarding AI because startups have fewer entrenched bureaucracies and business processes. They don't force AI into existing workflows. They are native in AI and they reinvent their business based on AIs.
This is the classic innovator's dilemma on hyperdrive. The reason 95% of corporate AI pilots fail isn't because the AI is weak. It's because the corporate structure is rigid. Large companies try to jam this revolutionary technology into their old, inefficient workflows. They treat AI like a slightly better spreadsheet. Startups, on the other hand, are AI native. They don't have legacy systems or bureaucratic antibodies fighting change. They build their entire business process around the AI's capabilities. This is the great filter of the AI age. It will determine who survives. It's not about who has the most money to spend on AI. It's about who has the organizational courage to rebuild themselves from the ground up. This dynamic is precisely why the tech giants are no longer collaborating. They are at war. They understand that talent that can build these new native systems is the most valuable resource on the planet.
Now, I think the backstory here, somebody should make a movie immediately about this, but the backstory is really interesting too. There was complete peace and détente for a long time between Apple, Microsoft, Google, they basically settled in this mode where Apple, you keep cranking out the phones. Our Microsoft phone failed miserably. We'll give up on it. Microsoft Office, that's our cash cow. Google Docs, you need to sit there and not threaten Google Docs. And in return, Bing will not threaten Google Search. And, it's not all written down anywhere because that would be illegal. But it's clearly stable. And that lasted for, 10, 12, 15 years of stability. Now they're colliding and fighting like you would not believe over AI. And it is full bore, going after your best people, anything I can do to get a head start on you. But we've never seen all the tech giants going after one brass ring before. And so it's really great for startups because we have turbulence and chaos, which is always great for the new guys coming in.
What a perfect summary of the current landscape. The unofficial truce between the tech giants is over. For a decade, they operated in their own sandboxes, protecting their respective cash cows. AI has shattered that peace because it isn't a feature, it's the entire future. It threatens every single one of their domains simultaneously. This isn't just competition, it's a multi-front war where the prize is total market dominance for the next century. This explains the billion-dollar salary offers and the zombie startups left behind after talent raids. It's a zero-sum game for the incumbents, but as they note, this chaos is the perfect environment for nimble startups to thrive. This brings us to the ultimate question. In this war for intelligence, where do we as humans fit in? Is this a story about corporations and labs, or is it about the future of our own minds?
Yeah, no, my Hertz fellow, Mikhail Shapiro, is a co-founder. I'm a huge fan of the company. My sense is this is such a rapidly moving space. I would love to see Merge Labs and all of its competitors deliver high bandwidth BCIs in the next few years. I think if that window of the next few years for high bandwidth BCIs isn't achieved, the risk is always that we achieve sort of a pure AI economy that completely decouples from the human economy, and BCIs, I think, are our best hope if they can deliver quickly enough at keeping the human and machine economies.
This is the endgame. Sam Altman isn't just building OpenAI, he's investing in Merge Labs, a brain-computer interface company. Why? Because the ultimate risk isn't a rogue AI, it's an irrelevant humanity. The concern is that the AI-driven economy accelerates so fast that it completely decouples from the human economy. Our thoughts, our creativity, our work, it all becomes too slow to matter. BCIs are presented here not as a cool gadget, but as our last best hope to stay in the game. It's about keeping the human and machine economies coupled. It's about merging with the technology, not just using it. The race to build AGI is happening in parallel with the race to connect our brains to it. So, is this a bubble? No, it is a fundamental rewriting of reality, from our economy and our history to the very definition of what it means to be human. The only real question left is, will you be a spectator or will you find a way to plug in? Let me know your thoughts in the comments and be sure to subscribe for more analysis on the future we're building, whether we're ready for it or not.